Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I think we're live. It's been a while
we
since we've done this. There's been so many struggles with our internet connection. We're not going to bore you with the details, but we are attempting one today. Hopefully this goes all right. It's something that's definitely worth talking about. We're going to wait for some people to tune in to join us in this discussion, but there's a lot to discuss today, guys.
There really is. There's big things going on. And this is almost like deja vu, I feel like. Are we going back to a time when things were hopeful and green? As though we hadn't just come back from a walk to Mordor and nothing is quite as bright as it used to be.
Yeah. Oh God, don't bring the vibe down already, James. Come on, let's stay positive.
It could be positive.
Cautious optimism. Let's go back to that. All right, okay. Let's have a look at the comments. It's been a while since we've gone live, like I said. So it's going to be so much fun chatting to you guys. Matt's here. What's up, Matt? How's it going? Love the lighting behind the staff. It's super duper wonky, but yeah.
It
did look cool, but then like it fell off and we couldn't get it back on. It's a whole thing. Who else is here? Space Jesus. Hello there. Justin Morrison's doing a shop. Well,
fair. I mean, why not watch us in Morrison's?
Hopefully we can keep you entertained while you're shopping. We've got 80 people here. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Considering it's been so long since we've gone live.
I know.
I was kind of expecting, a handful.
We're just talking to ourselves here.
Aaron Boyce. Hello, guys. Great to tune into a live. It's great to be live.
Yeah.
It's been so long. It's been so long. We're going to say that a few times.
Oh, yes.
As we try and get over this, it's not nervousness, but being live is tough. Should we delve into a couple of questions before we talk about the announcement, or should we just go straight into it?
We could do a question or two, just while everyone joins.
All right.
It usually takes 5 minutes for everyone to kind of pick up with this.
What we'll do, guys, as always, we'll address every single super chat there is. If you super chat, we're not going to ignore you, don't worry. We'll try and just address all of them at once rather than stopping and starting maybe, but yeah, we'll also do a little bit of questions and answers at the end, I guess.
Yeah,
because it's been so long, we want to hang out
for sure.
So let's answer one or two now, and then we'll go into the announcement. So we'll pull some up, shall we?
Yes.
So Jonathan says, what's your favorite Lord of the Rings weapon? I'm gonna have to go with that one.
Me.
No, not that. Not him.
Me.
Grab that. We've never even put this up. We bought this, and it's just on the side of our room. It's going to have to be Anduril. Narsil Reforged.
Look at that beauty.
It's a beautiful sword. An absolutely beautiful sword. Picked this up for a great price, too. What about you, James?
I feel like I'd be wrong if I didn't just go for like a staff, because they're just so awesome. But also then, how can you pick a Lord of the Rings weapon and not pick a sword of some sort?
There's a comment here saying getting a bit of popping on that mic stage right. So that's you? The camera that's in front of us is backwards to what we...
So which one? The one in the hat or the one in the hat?
It's really annoying either way. It's the same microphone, so...
Yeah.
Frustrating.
I'll keep an eye on our audio thing, see if anything's popping on there.
All right, we're up to 95 people in here, so I guess we just get into the announcement.
Why not? Let's start it off so everyone knows exactly what we're on about. Why don't we start off with the announcement itself, so everyone... Hat mic.
Oh, it's me.
Why
am I popping? There's nothing has changed.
Pop.
We record on these regularly. There's no issues.
Yeah.
It's our internet, I'm telling you guys. That's why we stopped doing lives, because this happens every time. There's nothing we can do. If it's too bad, we understand if you leave, but we'll have to just carry on as is. We're good?
We're good. So yeah, as I was saying, should we read the announcement? So just in case anyone's missed it and they're only hearing odd bits of news, why don't we all start in the same spot?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, let's just load this. So for those of you who don't know, the Embracer Group are the ones who kind of own a lot of the rights these days. And do you want to read? Shall I read?
Oh, I'll go for it.
Okay.
So Embracer Group, through its wholly owned subsidiary Middle-earth Enterprises, part of the operative group Free Mode, has together with New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Pictures concluded a multi-year agreement to collaborate on feature films based on The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. The strategic agreement covers multiple feature films based on the revered works of J.R.R. Tolkien, expanding upon the much-loved world and characters of Middle-earth. The agreement comes 20 years after New Line Cinema released Peter Jackson's epic The Lord of the Rings trilogy. The films are among the most successful and acclaimed of all time. Yes, they are. Winning 17 Oscars, including 11 for The Return of the King, tying the record for a single film. The studio routine with... you guys know all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it goes on to say about how War of the Rohirrim is an original anime film set 183 years before the events of Lord of the Rings, which will be coming out on the 12th of April next year. That's 2024. And then they continue to say, following our recent acquisition of Middle-earth Enterprises, we're thrilled to embark on this new collaborative journey with New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers, bringing the incomparable world of J.R.R. Tolkien back to the big screen in new and exciting ways. We understand how cherished these works are, and working together with our partners at New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers, we plan to honour the past, look to the future, and adhere to the strongest level of quality and production values. How long is this? Is this really long?
No, that's big.
Oh, okay.
One more little bit.
Where am I? So, wait.
20 years ago. That's
20 years ago, New Line took an unprecedented leap of faith to realise the incredible stories, characters, and world of The Lord of the Rings on the big screen. The result was a landmark series of films that have been embraced by generations of fans. For all the scope and detail lovingly packed into 2 trilogies, the vast, complex, and dazzling universe dreamed up by Tolkien remains largely unexplored on film. The opportunity to invite fans deeper into the cinematic world of Middle-earth is an honour, and we are excited to partner with Middle-earth Enterprises and Embracer on this adventure, said Warner Brothers Picture Group. Some guy.
Yeah. That is basically it. Then there's just some little details and about the Embracer Group.
That is it.
So, really, that was a very long-winded way of going. Oof. The guys who made The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are going to make some more films.
Yes, they are.
That is pretty much it.
That's literally all they've given us. So, we put up a post on Instagram yesterday, ironically, talking about how we were going to go live discussing this news today. And there were a lot of comments from people saying things like, no, these shouldn't be remade. They're so perfect. Like, that's not what they're saying.
No, I don't see that at all as these are remakes.
No.
These are expansions. This is the expanded universe of Tolkien now, which you could take in good or bad. I mean, I feel like most of us have been hurt by recent events, so I think there's going to be a lot of negativity towards this.
Yeah.
However, this is not Amazon. It is not a TV series. They are individual feature films. Okay, we know things like Marvel and all have come in. They've done amazing. They've continued on too long and maybe become worse for the want of trying. But that's not to say anything that is to be made these days is going to be awful.
It's true. I'm trying to listen to you and read comments at the same time. Yeah, it's not going to be a remake like I was just saying, but there's some comments here that are making me think. Like, I kind of want to know, before we talk about what we could possibly get out of this announcement, what the potential films could be, I kind of want to know, I guess, our thoughts, but I'll start with you, I guess. Like, what are your thoughts on this announcement? Is it exciting? Is it worrying? Is it daunting? Is it, what is it? Tell me.
I would say exciting. It's definitely something that, I mean, we said it from when The Rings of Power was announced all those years before. You cannot have a good adaptation if you don't have any adaptations.
It's true.
And the Lord of the Rings movies showed great adaptations are possible. If they had made The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, even the cartoon ones back in the day, and then Rings of Power, and every single one of them had been awful. Every single part of every single one was just one of those which, like, why did you bother with any of these?
Yeah.
Then I could understand why you would then go, why'd you keep trying?
Yeah.
Flogging a dead horse is just not worth it. However,
Leave it alone.
The Lord of the Rings was just that good, and everyone knows that there is no reason whatsoever that it cannot be done again. Okay, yes, you can't, like, trying to catch lightning in a bottle twice is one of those things they say you shouldn't try and do. You shouldn't go back just for the sake of going back, but I think they would have learned some lessons with The Hobbit on the mistakes of doing that.
Yeah.
Because obviously they've said Peter Jackson and his team are involved, or at least they've been involved.
They're in
talks.
discussions, yeah.
They've been involved in talks, which means that basically confirming everything's going to be set in that universe.
Yes.
Which I think is a good thing. I mean, it's what Del Toro was going to have done in the first place with The Hobbit. Is Peter Jackson was there as like a producer to talk to about it, but he wasn't supposed to be making the thing. Which I think is, if they go that route, I think that's the best way to do it. Give a fresh pair of eyes and ears and whatever the chance to go with it, but let someone who has proven they can do it with the right amount of time, I will add, let them be involved in some way to help you.
Yeah. I agree. The fact that they are talking to Peter Jackson about this, again, it doesn't confirm, but it does tell us that it will be set in this I guess, New Line Cinemaverse.
Yes.
Which for me is ideal. I think it's obvious that to me that The Lord of the Rings is the greatest movie trilogy ever made. Like, what an accomplishment in cinema.
Yep.
The only concern I have is those movies were made about 24 years ago.
Yes.
They started shooting in 1999, I believe. So it's difficult to involve key characters that we are familiar with without recasting, because so many of them have aged so much.
Yes.
Which could lend itself to be, I don't know, not awkward, but it's going to stir people the wrong way, I think.
Yes.
Like imagine seeing a different Aragorn or a different Gandalf. Like, that would hurt me.
Thing is, I could accept it if it made sense. So say, for example, like one of the big ones that people are talking about, which had been the rumors for Amazon series for a while, was the Young Aragorn show.
Yeah.
Well, now Young Aragorn potential film.
Yeah.
The early adventures of, if going off with Elladan and Alvor here and serving in Gondor and Rohan and basically doing all that side of things. Recasting that, no problem.
Because I agree.
Well, I mean, obviously the Dune and Dine age differently anyway, so you should, in theory, you shouldn't look too different, but I wouldn't have as much of a problem with that. Okay, Gandalf is a hard one. Seeing anyone but Sir Ian McKellen as Gandalf is, like, painful.
Yeah,
almost.
literally.
So, yeah, I get it, but I know that there are people who could do a great job. And, again, this feels like such deja vu with this, over the way we talked about the Rings of Power beforehand.
Yeah.
But I will stick with how I was, and, well, we both were before that came out, is I will be hopeful and I will be positive.
To be honest, I'm considerably more positive for this than I ever was for the Rings of Power, purely because we know the team involved have already produced the greatest movie trilogy of all time.
Yes.
There are very few negatives I could pull out of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Don't get me wrong, there's some. There are some, but very, very few. Whereas you look at Rings of Power, I could be here for an hour. Didn't mean that to rhyme.
That's just episode 1.
Yeah. But I guess that kind of leads us on to talking about the potential possibilities. You've already, of course, mentioned the fact that there could be a young Aragorn.
Yes.
Spin-off, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the stories that I would like to see. There's also the potential of them doing, like, I guess not, it doesn't work so well with films. I was going to say, like, more of a Black Mirror type thing where everything kind of, but it doesn't work so well in films. I don't want to see, like, a young Aragorn trilogy. I'd like everything to be standalone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that is where I'm worried that they will mess up, because obviously they turn The Hobbit into a trilogy. They go, trilogies are great. Trilogies make us money. And regardless of what people say about The Hobbit, it made a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So from their point of view, it's hard to think that they'll look at that and go, oh, well, we did something wrong here because we only made $1 billion. You're like, well, no. For their point of view, they'll go, well, let's do it again. But yeah, like young Aragorn doesn't not even doesn't warrant, but I would be worried if they did a trilogy. Your mic is crackling real bad.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
Is it both of us, or is it just his still, or has it swapped now?
Either way, it's going to be internet connection, because we record with these mics all the time, not live, and they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost my trail of thought now.
Basically about doing trilogies.
Yeah, I really don't want them to, they cast a young Aragorn. That's really annoying. Should we just pass your mic back and forth?
You can only listen to me now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what I don't want to happen is for them, let's say they cast a young Aragorn. I don't want them to start filming this young Aragorn with this fantastic story they've written and be like, this is good. Let's stretch this out. And then make it crap. We could get, this is so good. People are going to love this. Let's get 3 movies out of this. Just triple the amount of money. Like, that's what I don't want. That's exactly what happened with The Hobbit. Yeah. It was unnecessary, and that's what ruined it. We had so much unimportant, pointless stuff in The Hobbit that it ruined the trilogy. So that's my concern. I hope they just stick with, let's just give us different parts of Middle-earth. Let's show us the war in the north. Show us the Angmar War. Show us a young Aragorn. Show us the hunt for Gollum. I don't know, all these different things, but not stretch anything out over multiple movies. That's important for me, I think.
Yeah, because there's a big thing about. I'll bring up this comment in a minute because I'll kind of address this with what I'm saying, which is why not bring back Vigo? He's still an active actor. One of the things that kind of gets me at the moment is they do try and bring these older actors back, and then you CGI to make them look young.
Oh, don't do that.
You can get moments like screenshots that look decent, but then you get so much uncanny valley-ness in a lot of it. And to be honest, sometimes a younger actor deserves the chance.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I would give anything to have a young Viggo Mortensen coming back and playing a role like that himself. But sometimes you got to accept these things aren't the way to go. Like, say with the War of the Rohirrim movie, that Miranda Otto is involved, but it feels like obviously she's like a voiceover, like narrator, telling the story or whatever. Like, you could almost try and do that as a theme. Like, it's almost like Aragorn as king, telling a story of some adventures he had when he was little or something. You could do that, and then you have an older Vigo, and
that'd be great.
You get to see him as like the king in all like you get those old Aragorn pieces of art that look amazing, just something like that, like there with Arwen, his kids, everything, and just like telling a story which goes into it. It doesn't need to be much. Okay, maybe a bit fan servicey to a point, but if it's done right, it could work well.
I agree. I'll bring this comment up as well. Like, why not? What if Vigo came back as Arathorn? That's another possibility.
Yeah.
Why not recast Aragorn with a younger actor and have Vigo play Arathorn? It's
like
possible.
That. Yeah.
Also, there's no reason we can't have both. We could have a movie based on young Aragorn's adventures, with a new actor, giving somebody else an opportunity to play this fantastic character. But then there's no reason why we can't have a fourth age Aragorn story where Vigo does reprise the role, and we see what happens in the fourth age with, bringing up kids and ridding the world of remaining evil. Like these sort of things definitely are possible.
I suppose it becomes a hard one of going, how much are they going to be making up for these films, and how much is it going to be what's already been written? Obviously, we know a rough set of events that happen with Aragorn's life, so you can do a certain amount of things. But then, like, having a film that maybe deals with Aragorn, and once he reaches that age where he's going to die and he's leaving everything to his children and all of that, like, that would be a very interesting character film to see. Maybe, I'm thinking it reminds me more of like Logan in the X-Men universe as opposed to the X-Men films. Like, something a lot more character-driven in that world could be a really nice change, and almost like a way of them going, look, we're going to make you great films based on this universe. We're not just going to CGI everything.
Oh, I hope not.
That could be a really nice way of them coming into it, going look at this character, look what he's going through. We're going on a journey with him. We don't need a big spectacle. Okay, yes, we'll have moments. Might get a flashback of this, that, and the other. There's going to obviously be some kind of action in this world anyway, but it's not the focus. And I think that could be a really nice way of doing it. Saying that, don't think there's any chance they'll do that. I think they're going to go spectacle.
Probably, yeah.
Because that's what's worked in the past. But I just feel like it's there for them to do and show them why they're different to what else is being done.
True, but having said all that, what's interesting about Middle-earth is different areas of Middle-earth are so contrasted in the vibe, if you know what I mean. So you could literally, someone in the comments just said something about a horror movie exploring things like the Barrow Wights. Like, that's a great idea. Like, you could literally have a terrifyingly adult horror movie about things like the Barrow Wights, or even the origins of the Nazgul. Like, you could make these things really, really dark. And then in the exact same universe, in the same continuity, you could have a comedy, but it's set in the Shire.
Yes.
And it works. They work as part of the same universe, but they have completely different vibes. So you can have different demographics for your, different audiences for your demographics. You can have completely different audiences for your genres, but it all works within the same world. And I think that's a big opportunity right there that they probably won't explore.
No. Again, I'm going to say it again. Deja vu. When we knew Amazon were going to be making a show. Before we even knew what the show was. We know as fans what potential is out there. Now, you just got to hope that having someone like Peter Jackson involved, okay, yes, he changed a lot for his movies. But they are still considered great, which shows it can be done and altered. And I just feel like they need to listen to the fan base a bit. I'm not saying let the fans write what you're going to make.
No, I think it's extremely important they listen to the fans this time.
Yeah, but extremely. I think they need to take more on board from us as a fandom.
Yeah.
Like, we're not a stupid group.
No.
We love Tolkien for a reason, and seeing it butchered is basically blasphemy.
Yeah, it's awful, right?
It's like one of the worst things you could do to us who enjoy this.
And by us, we mean the Tolkien fandom as a whole, not just me and James, right?
Oh yes, yeah. I'm generalizing all of us. I'm putting you in my little group together here at the moment. But yeah, it's like there's so many of us that they could contact, and just find out a little bit about what we want, what would be accepted, what would be going too far. And I think that's one of the main ones. Like I said, we can accept changes, generally, but there is a ceiling to that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people bring things up about maybe they could make films on Children of Hurin or Beren and Luthien. Now, the announcement specifically states the rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, so I'm going to assume that they wouldn't be able to do anything like that. But it'll be interesting to see how far they can push that. So
my guess would...
I was going to say, let's move this on from Young Aragorn.
Yes.
I want to see if they could push this on to like previous stories from existing characters. For example, could they do the Angmar War and the rise of the Witch King? That's like another great story that has never been explored, and it does technically link into the Lord of the Rings, right? Because it's essentially a part of a prequel.
Yeah, and I will just say, art by Anato Fenstark, incredible.
Oh, so good, so good,
so good. If you like art and you've never heard of him, God, please go check him out. But anyway, sorry, another point right now. Yeah, that's the thing. I think that we're quite safe to say that anything prior to Third Age, they're not going to be allowed to touch. Amazon are doing what they're doing, and I don't think they will have any overlap.
No.
I think it's too risky, and I don't think Amazon would let them have that chance.
No,
they have too much money and power to say, oh yeah, we're going to let you make a competing film directly with the stuff we're making. Because if you were, and you've seen the backlash, you know exactly how to make yourself the winner in that situation. So.
Yeah. I got to address this from Jim Quinn. Why remake the greatest trilogy? I want to see this done brilliant. We've already addressed this. I don't know where this is coming from. They've not said anything about remakes. They've said more films based in Middle Earth. So I just want to clarify that right now, because I would be shocked to my very core if it was a remake.
Oh yeah, they suddenly announced that. I mean, these days they'd probably remake it into 6 films.
Yeah,
which could work. Lord of the Rings is one of the few books where you could probably get 6 good films.
True. I saw a great question a minute ago. It's gone in our list of comments, but someone asked, because we mentioned quite strongly a minute ago, we don't want to see a great story stretched into 3 movies like before. But someone asked, are there any stories that could work as a trilogy? And I think, if I'm honest, the Angmar War is probably something that could work, because there's a lot to it.
Yeah,
there's a lot that goes on.
Yeah, it's tough because obviously the prologue to the Fellowship of the Ring obviously shows the War of the Last Alliance. So they're probably going to have some ability to reference that.
Yeah.
So you can probably get that with the founding of Arnor and Gondor and all of that built up to a point where Angmar then comes about and wages war. There's so much build up to then have a war, and then the amount of battles in the war. I think it could definitely be a trilogy. I think it could be done well if it was. And we volunteer to write that if you...
Yes, Sir Peter Jackson, if you are watching and you are involved, then hit us up.
If you're one of the 154 people watching right now, we volunteer as tribute. But it's, I definitely would say yes. That one could be a trilogy because there's a lot to go with it.
Yeah, I agree.
But then, if, for example, they wanted to go and... like the Young Aragorn, like we said, no, not so much.
Yeah, but the Angmar War is... kind of going back to what I was saying about different genres and different vibes around Middle Earth. The Angmar War is something that could have, again, a kind of a mix of genres. You can have horror.
Yes.
You can have intense action. You can have family-driven drama. And I truly think that it's... I'd probably say this would be my top pick for not necessarily a starting point, but if I was going to request them to do something, it would be this or... and we'll just use this as a segue to our...
I wonder if you're going to pick what I would. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to change... How do I change?
Double click left.
Wait there. Let's just get a picture, relevant picture. There we go. War in the North.
Yes, this is 100%. I mean, I'm not. I think I picked the wrong piece of art for that, but oh well, it's close enough. Yeah, this is where I would love to see. And
it probably makes sense as a starting point.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say. I was literally actually the point I was about to make. Is I feel like this makes a perfect starting point because they have made the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So making the movie of what's going on in the same time up north and how it ties in, I think could be such a good way to bring everything about. Now, I'm not sure if it would deserve a trilogy.
Maybe. Because it goes on simultaneously to the Lord of the Rings story, it potentially could work, but also...
It's like, for example, now I'm on the spot, I can't think of how many times, but however many times they attack Lothlorien and they are repelled. Like, if you want to show that, then it would get repetitive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that, like... I just think it would be a Hobbit situation if you stretched it out. You could potentially make 2 really good movies, or you make 3 wish they were slightly better movies, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. The other issue is with it being in the same universe and happen simultaneously is you would expect some of the same cast. For example, Dane would be a heavily featured character, but was played by Billy Connolly. I just don't know if that works.
I think when you have such a CGI in CGI.
Billy Connolly, I love Billy Connolly as a comedian, but he's not badass enough to be Dane Ironfoot. Come on.
No, and I don't think his health is actually at a point he could anymore.
I've got to bring this up just because it's going to happen, but this person says, if it isn't the Silmarillion, I'll eat my own feet. I had to bring that up just because you're going to be eating your own feet, because it's not going to be the Silmarillion. If you're saying that, I'm going to go ahead and assume you've never read the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
It's not a story as such. It's basically a collection of stories.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work as one story. So,
And like we said, with the announcement, it's the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit that they've kind of said they're going to be around. And I cannot see them going toe-to-toe with Amazon.
They won't. Nothing first or second age will happen for these. I would almost bet eating my feet on it.
Yeah. But just imagine, though, just for a moment, just imagine that Amazon had all that fuss with, like, they couldn't actually use the Silmarillion content. They could use the appendices, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much stuff that they can vaguely reference but not actually tell. And then imagine, like, Warner Brothers and New Line come back in now and suddenly go, hey, guys, heard those 2 trees? Heard of Morgoth?
Oh.
That's our film.
Yeah.
And they just go and do it. And Amazon were there for ages, like, debating over what they could use and not use and all these little references. And, oh, yeah. Bezos would not be happy.
No. I wonder, there's a comment there from Bluthhammer. Bluthhammer. We're going to find out that the Blue Wizards have blue hair. Sure. But bringing up the Blue Wizards, we haven't really talked about it. I guess there's the potential that they could maybe do it. They'd have to be careful. We know that Gandalf references in the Hobbit movie. Doesn't he say, like, his cousin or something?
Yeah, he basically says, and then there's 2 more, but you can't remember their names.
Yeah, so they have been referenced. So I guess they could do a story based around the Blue Wizards, but who knows? Yeah,
I think that... I always love the idea of more Blue Wizards.
Same.
And I always think that their stories would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But then maybe it's one of those points where you got to respect the fact that Tolkien didn't write them, shows that their story wasn't that interesting.
I'm very torn on this, though, because Tolkien didn't have a lot of information or write a lot of information on the Blue Wizards. Some people will say, and half of me says, well, it shouldn't be touched for that reason.
Yeah.
But then the other half of me says, there's not much info on them, so that gives a lot of room for a lot of creativity. You know what I mean?
That kind of
creativity. The best kind of creativity.
Yes.
But you guys know what I mean, right? Like, if there's not that much about it, then there's freedom to play. And sometimes that can lead to the best stuff.
Yeah.
Brandon, what's up, dude?
Hey! I'm sorry, my mind's just gone completely blank now. What?
Sorry, yeah. We were talking about, the Blue Wizards and the fact that there's not much information on them could either lead to, they should perhaps leave it alone, or maybe because there's not much, it allows freedom to create, and that could potentially lead to some good stuff.
Yes.
Just get the right writers involved.
Yeah, and it might be one of those situations where the moment we find out who the writers are, that's where we know where this is going to go. If they go down the route of hey, these few writers have done these odd couple of things or these odd episodes of TV that are kind of good. Might be a little more back up in the air with that one. If they get the Peter Jackson team back involved, I might feel a little bit more positive. If they give them the time. Which, if they're involved from the beginning, hopefully that is more of a case.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, James. I'm barely listening to you because I'm trying to read the comments at the same time. So I'm just gonna nod and
nod. Everything I say is correct. That's why. But yeah. So, but going back to a minute, just War in the North.
Yeah.
I would love to see some more dwarves in action.
Same.
And revisiting those places we saw in The Hobbit, but how they actually come across in The Lord of the Rings and that time. And realistically, the War in the North was a battle that was going to be lost. I mean, spoilers, I guess. But I assume most of you can figure or have realized what happened. But realistically, they were going to lose that battle. They were just holding out. It was only from from the ring being destroyed and the defeat of Sauron, the news of that making its way north, that the armies broke.
Yeah.
Realistically, if that hadn't happened, the North was gone. Yeah,
true.
So
it was vital.
It would be an interesting battle to see in that way, that it's a war that in the end they would not win without, I guess, a bit of divine intervention or something.
Yeah.
But I think that is just something that could be played on so well in some movies. It's there.
There is so much potential. Like, it's almost endless what they could do.
Question.
Yes.
Just to trigger some people here. If they did War in the North, and we saw Lothlorien, who would you cast as Galadriel?
Oh, for God's sake. Kate Blanchett still.
Thank God. If you say anything else, that sword was then just yes.
Yeah,
no,
she's still be it now. Or Margot Robbie, just because she's supposed to be the most beautiful woman in the world, and you know.
Kate Blanchett every day.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them bring her back for it.
Yeah, so would I.
Although again, I feel like that would just be another kick to Amazon.
Yeah.
Going, yeah, you know what you did wrong? We're bringing the good one back. Yeah.
So, was there any other options we potentially wanted to talk about, or do we want to open this up now to you guys to start suggesting stuff to discuss?
We got a couple more I'd like to address first.
Okay.
So first, we will go with a certain grey wizard who follows his nose, which is already appeared on screen. But there we go. Okay, Gandalf. Tell me, where is Gandalf?
So my problem with doing something revolving around Gandalf is he is pretty much a centerpiece for The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Yep.
And also, Ian McKellen was so perfect as the character.
Yeah.
Not having him would just be, well, gross, basically.
Yes, I completely agree with, like we kind of said at the beginning. Anyone who's not Ian McKellen playing Gandalf is just...
It's painful.
It is painful. And I feel like it's hard because if you want to play Gandalf now, you're basically trying to do an impression of Sir Ian McKellen.
Yeah,
It'd be very hard to do a unique, different...
Meteor Man.
No, not biting. It'd be so hard to do a new version of Gandalf.
Yeah.
And either of them go, oh, you're just trying to be Ian McKellen, or you go down the other route of going, oh, this isn't Ian McKellen, so it's rubbish. It'd be so hard to find that line in the middle, very paper thin line where you could find something amazing. I'm not saying it could never be done, but it's with such an iconic character, with such an iconic look, voice, everything. I feel like it's a risky move.
Well, Brandon has just said the entire cast for Lord of the Rings has become the image of those characters for most people, and anyone else is doing impressions. And I think it would kind of feel like that, and that is the problem with this purely being set in the New Line Cinemaverse.
Yeah.
So there are pros and cons, which for me is why they should probably try and stay away from stuff we are too familiar with, which is why I like the idea of the Angmar War.
Yes.
Because we're not going to see a lot of people that we're too familiar with.
No, I mean, realistically, you're seeing the Nazgul and the Witch King, who will be quite easy to make look the same or very similar. Like something like, say, the Witch King's helmet, you can make some variation on that to make it look like it came from an earlier time.
Yeah.
And still look amazing, but still be close enough to you go, well, I know this is the same universe.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nazgul, they wear cloaks. Not a lot you can do with that. Yeah. There's enough that you can match, and just the chance of seeing Arnor and stuff would just be
yeah.
could be so good.
Yeah.
If they base the armor
Before we
off
see
the
it
Lord
in
of the
Rings of Power.
designs and stuff.
Yeah. We're at some point next year, maybe, we're going to see Arnor in Rings of Power.
That'll happen at some point.
So
yeah.
I almost would enjoy the contrast, the comparison.
But again, that's what I'm unsure about it though, because I don't know if they would do something that's going to overlap.
True.
It's
very true.
Like if they're selling the rights, surely the rights can only be to one person for particular things. And so, although you could reference, like you could talk about Arnor, you couldn't see it.
It's weird though, right? Because rights, I'm not a lawyer. I can't understand all these copyright laws. But like Spider-Man, you have the Sony Spider-Man, and the Marvel Spider-Man, and like all that sort of stuff is very confusing. So I guess there is the potential that they could have the same characters.
But they haven't. Obviously, right now they brought them back, but those things didn't happen at the same time. One had to finish for the next one to start, and now they had this moment where they could do this multiverse, and obviously Sony are going to be getting paid a nice, bit on the side for having theirs involved and everything like that. Whereas I just can't see Amazon sharing.
Otaku Senpai says, Fellowship of Fans has reported that the Embracer Group and the Tolkien Estate co-share the movie rights for Tolkien's works after The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. WB is partnered with them. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that doesn't really make much of a difference, right? That's basically what
I don't think that changes anything.
No.
But I think we can basically, just to round up the Gandalf part, I think we can safely just kind of assume that I hope this isn't the route they go down, at least not anytime soon. I think there's much better options.
I agree.
And then one more that I've seen kind of thrown around a bit that I would like to just quickly discuss is this.
Interesting.
As you can see on screen now. Scouring of the Shire.
Now this one makes sense because it would be I say a direct sequel to The Lord of the Rings. It wouldn't. It would be a direct middle sequel.
It would be a direct fourth ending sequel, but before the fifth ending. Like I've always said I would love to see this, and I think we said on the channel before quite a few times that I feel like this lends itself perfectly to, you're looking like a BBC type series of maybe an 8-episode thing of going through, but I just don't see that kind of thing ever happening in this situation. The people who played the Hobbits may be able to reprise those roles still, with the right makeup and stuff. They all good. I think you'll have a little bit of the issue of like Legolas in The Hobbit compared to Lord of the Rings, where you could tell that the actor is older.
Yeah.
But it's again an interesting story that would be great to see. Obviously, you've got
doesn't feel like there's enough to it.
No.
You'd have to kind of redo bits. I don't know.
Yeah, you would too. I think you may rely too much on, the Lord of the Rings and where this fits.
Yeah.
To then go into the story, as opposed to being able to set it up like as a standalone film, it might struggle. But I also think one of the main issues with this, with why it shouldn't happen, at least in this universe, is there's no Christopher Lee.
Yeah, that's very true.
Sharky, there's not Christopher Lee. I'm just not on board with.
No.
I know that we say that people, I've literally said in this video, I feel other people should get a chance to play characters and whatnot, but
also, there's a point there. He is literally shown to die.
Yeah.
In the trilogy anyway, so it makes no difference.
In the extended edition, so yeah. But it's that, I mean, these days you never know, they'd bring it in and it would be some other guy who's just called Sharky who would be doing this.
Yeah,
in that
true.
kind of situation, but yeah.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know if that is like, that's going to be canon. And that's what's these other films are going to follow. It's just
Alex Miller says that Jeremy Irons could be Saruman. Yeah, that's
like there's definitely people who could play a great Saruman, but it's just that I don't know.
So carrying on from that previous statement, Warner's could make second age movies derived from the appendices. Well,
so basically, Amazon and Warner Bros. Could make the same stories. One is a TV series, one is a film, as they have the same rights.
Oh boy,
that's. I mean, realistically, Warner Brothers just have to wait for the season to come out, see how bad Amazon's is, and just go, let's do the correct version.
Yeah.
And then everyone would love them.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of people in the comments talking about like doing movies on the adventures of Tom Bombadil.
This was one that I thought about, but I didn't actually get anything up about because I wasn't sure. But
it's probably...
we'll move on to that for a minute then.
I'm going to be honest, from everything that we've talked about and looking at the comments, it seems to be the most commented thing. Tom Bombadil.
We'll go Rivendell. I don't know what image to put up for Tom Bombadil, so
I feel like Tom Bombadil is the classic character of fans of the movies when they want to show that they know the books.
yeah. I mean,
for me, I think it would be my very, very, very last pick. It would be my least favorite thing for them to pick.
you know what I would love to see? Them to do like almost like a teaser short film, like a 10-minute, and do something on the Barrow Wights.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it deserves its own film. I don't think there's enough there for a film around all of that. But I would just love them to almost do like remember back in the day, Deadpool, when that
the little teaser thing.
Not even it's like the pitch thing, almost like that kind of idea with like a little Tom Bombadil Barrow White thing.
I just don't. It would just be a musical of some guy like
but I think
hopping around, being all jolly and singing at the. Someone says that Tom Bombadil would just be a movie of the guy singing at trees. Like, it's exactly what it would be, and I have no interest in seeing that, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I apologize to all the Tom Bombadil fans, but he's one of my least. I always like, whenever I read the books and reread the books, I always skip over the Tom Bombadil bits.
It would have to be adapted to hell and back.
Yeah, it works for a musical.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever hear of The Lord of the Rings, the stage musical, expect Tom Bombadil to be the face of that.
Yes,
but
with Jack Black starring, please.
Yes.
But yeah, I saw that in the comments a few times and wanted to address that because it would be a huge no from me.
Yeah.
Otaku Senpai said, on the other hand, we have the complete novel of the Children of Hurin. Don't think that works.
Honestly, that would take too much adapting.
Oh Christ, it's so depressing
to come out in today's market.
Yeah.
Although it'd be lovely to see a live-action adaptation of that kind of story, and it is one of the ones that we always joked about, like, that'll be the one that we get to make when we're older, and things like that. In today's market, I just don't see them ever going near that story with such a big franchise.
No.
If it was like an indie film, then, okay, I could maybe see them tackling that kind of thing. But I don't see how a studio would risk themselves on that one when there's many other stories they could tell that are much more
family friendly,
and just kind of more familiar.
Yeah, no, I agree. And plus, I just don't think they have the rights to it. So yeah. I think we've pretty much covered what we would potentially like to see. It's going to be young Aragorn, War in the North, the Angmar Wars. I think that those are probably the most likely.
I mean, I've seen this one mentioned a few times as well. Sorry, comments changed. Baron and Luthien.
I addressed that earlier.
You did.
Yeah, I said Children of Hurin and Baron and Luthien was being thrown around a lot, but it's the same thing. They're not part of the Lord of the Rings or Hobbit New Line Cinemaverse, so it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think that kind of rounds up most of the general ideas.
Yeah, there's a comment there with Fall of Gondolin, exactly the same thing. None of that, nothing Silmarillion related, I feel is likely to be even likely at all. You know, like I can't even imagine they'll think about it. You need to think about things that are related to the 6 movies that we have already. At least that's the vibe I've got.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's just such a tough one. It is such a tough one. And getting these like really vague announcements that something's going to happen. Yeah. We just don't know where it's going to go.
No, I feel like we've got a while to wait before we get something solid as well. We're probably going to have...
I mean, I did try contacting the Embrace Group for more information, but they didn't actually get back to me. So
maybe they could just redo The Hobbit. But yeah, I feel like what we're likely to get now is we've got the Rings of Power Season 2 next year. Obviously nothing to do with the Embracer Group or anything. Then we've got... Ooh, that's a good shout, Matt. That is a good shout.
Balin's attempt to recapture Moria.
Yeah, that could make a great movie.
But again, it's just such a depressing end.
Yeah.
I'm not... That's why I struggle. Like, there's so many great stories, but so many of them don't have a feel-good factor at the end.
True.
And a lot of people need that for a movie to be made. Like, as much as I would love to see them. Like...
Something, there we go. Something focused around the Rangers of the North is a great idea.
Like
a more simple story, just following some rangers protecting, from the trees, protecting the more simple folk of Middle Earth. I think that's a fantastic idea for a story. Yeah,
we kind of touched upon it at the beginning with the Aragorn. If they would say do a Fourth Age one, I really pray that they kind of just strip things back a bit and just get one hell of a good script.
Yeah.
Regardless of spectacle.
I agree.
Just strip it back and have something that really makes you connect to a character. Especially if you're going to revisit characters we already know. I think that'd be the best way to make us accept it.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a big fantasy epic.
No.
I know that's essentially what Tolkien's world is for the most part, but it's also very character-driven, fantastic storytelling. So that also needs to sometimes come across on screen, you know? Yeah, I mean, I really wish we could be involved. I wish we had veto power.
Oh, I know.
I feel like for the most part, and I may be generalizing, I feel like for the most part we kind of are on the same table as most of the fandom in terms of what we want from these sorts of things.
I think so.
So I wish like it could be like a broken sword veto community. That would be very nice.
Yeah. But like, is there anything that we've forgotten though, guys? Is there any other ideas that you would think that they should at least consider making? But who knows? I mean, are we going to get stories of orcs turning good?
They're not going to go that far.
And things like that.
I got distracted a second ago. But what I was saying is a kind of timeline for this stuff is we'll have Rings of Power Season 2. That's 2024, right? Yes.
Yes.
Actually, no. We're going to get War of the Rohirrim before that. That's April. And I think Rings of Power is like September of 24.
If it comes out at the same time of year, then yeah.
So, yeah, that's probably going to be what's next. I imagine they will try and tie in an announcement for the first movie around the time of the release of War of the Rohirrim. That would be my prediction. It's going to be set in the same universe.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I wonder, like, I'm trying to think back to the announcement now if I missed it, but is everything they're going to make live action? You know what I mean? Like, where does War in the Rohirrim really fit in to this? Because they basically said the War in the Rohirrim fits into this universe.
Yeah.
So, are they going to talk about doing any more animated, or is that just going to be the separate studio completely? Because there's so many of these things. Like, say you said then, the Angmar Wars. Or would you rather see that in the animated form? Or would you rather see that in the live action form?
Live action.
I know most people will say live action, but there are some stories that would work so well in animated form. But I don't know. It's those moments where you kind of go, is there going to be too much CGI?
See, I think it's the first age stuff that lends itself well to animation. Whereas most of the third age stuff you could definitely tell in live action. And well, you could tell any of it in live action, but yeah, I don't know. There's some cool comments coming through with suggestions. Like basically the story of between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings would be a good one.
Yeah.
During the seventh, scroll up a little bit. The building of the glittering caves. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where's that?
Something about just doing a story focusing around the bad guys, focusing on the orcs.
The thing is,
could be a comedy.
This is the issue that I've had a little bit with the Rings of Power is I don't want orcs to be redeemable.
No, neither do I.
I don't want to like them. So if we focus on them, they're going to have redeeming qualities. Otherwise, it won't work.
True.
So I feel like that goes down a slippery slope that I'm not sure works for this universe.
True.
But this comment as well from Vlad. They should do easy playing stories for starters, just like they did with The Mandalorian for Star Wars, and gained their fans for a while. Sorry. We need something like that after Amazon's Abomination.
I couldn't agree more. That goes back to what we were saying a second ago about just stripping it back. It doesn't need to be a fantasy epic. Telling us simple yet strong stories is definitely the way to go. Like when we were saying that, I was thinking of saying, you know, like Kenobi for Star Wars, but that was the wrong example. The Mandalorian is the right example. So yeah, thanks for that comment.
Yes.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. Which now we know will mean that they're going to go for the biggest spectacle they could possibly imagine. And
I just thought, season 3 of The Mandalorian is out tomorrow.
It is.
Whoa. That came around quick.
Whoa.
How about a film about the founding of Rohan? Yeah, it would be great. We have a video on that. It came out a few weeks ago. Check it out.
We do. Yeah.
No, I agree.
I mean, even like we said about, it gets so tough because I always go back to like, I'd love to see like, maybe what a bit of Saruman got up to when he went east and things like that. But you just go back to they're making these things up again. Yeah. And you got to recast them and all this. And it's just like, I'm
tired.
I just don't know. It's just, it's such a, I feel like it could go so right and so wrong no matter which way you go.
No, I agree. There's some more comments talking about Baron and Luthien. Again, it doesn't seem they have the rights to that, so that'll be a no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I guess we'll spend the next... We've been live now for 50 minutes, so we'll spend the next 10 minutes answering some of your guys' questions, if you have any. Yeah, they can be about this announcement. They can be about anything Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth, YouTube related. Let us know. And then, yeah. I'm touching wood. There weren't too many hiccups, I don't think, with Signal today.
No, I think we've been okay.
We had some microphone issues, right? But
yeah, I think we've been kind of safe.
Yeah. So yeah, send in those questions, guys. Let's talk. It's been so long since we've been here answering questions and chatting and hanging out with you guys. So hopefully you've got some burning questions.
Yes.
By the way, while we're here, if any of you are in the South Wales area, we recently opened a shop. A shop. It's nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, but we're selling trading cards, Newport trading cards. So if you're in the area, you want to come and hang out, say hello, come on down. It's in Newport Market. Check it out.
Yes.
We've been open a week and it was crazy.
It has been.
Matt says the card shop. Yes, the card shop.
The card shop.
Opening day had a queue of 30 people. It was crazy. What? Adventures in Middle-earth role-playing when? We'd love to.
I would love to. So much.
Yeah. It's more of a time thing.
This is an interesting one. The Last King of Gondor, Éomer, and his death at the hands of the Witch King as a horror film.
Oof, yes.
I would be so interested. And I know we've said it, but like if they just went for that proper horror route. Like not like a jump scare, like Halloween time film, but like a good story, but there's just so much like terror involved.
Yeah. There's a few questions there. Ben says, when's the next Yu-Gi-Oh pull? For Yu-Gi-Oh, we're probably just sticking with new releases.
Yeah.
We spent so much money chasing Starlights and stuff that it just didn't happen. No. Matt says, is Tabletop Alliance done for now? It's a great question. We do get this question quite a lot. I think the answer, I mean, it's a sad one because it's probably one of my most favorite things to do on YouTube, but it just takes so much time and makes literally zero money. So it's very, very difficult to drop other things in our lives and jobs to spend the time on that. That's all. Don't get me wrong. I would love to. And when we had the sponsorship with Firestorm, it kind of, drove us to do it. It wasn't a monetary sponsorship. They just provided us with free stuff, which was great because it's a hobby we love. But when we fell behind, the sponsorship was dropped, and it kind of made it difficult to fit it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we ever get around to somehow making loads of money and being able to have lots of time to do whatever we want, we'll definitely come back to it.
Yes. Here's one for you. Your favourite Tolkien-inspired artist? Aurora's is John Howe.
Probably Anato Finstock. If we could turn the camera right now, we've got like some fantastic posters up there from Displate that are incredible.
So good. See, and Anato Finstock is definitely like up there, but I've also got obviously John Howe and Alan Lee. They obviously go without saying. Yeah. Would also have to say Ted Naismith is phenomenal. You got C.K. Goxoy.
Oh, incredible.
Whose stuff is just like
Yeah. True.
I know there's so many more that I check the descriptions of our videos because we link the websites and stuff for like kind of I guess some of the main ones that we've used and have spoken to in the past and stuff. But there's so many good ones. It's too hard to single one out.
JP Rocha says, I was actually thinking of buying cards for the first time because of your opening videos. That's cool. What are you thinking of buying? If you guys don't know, Magic the Gathering, which is like the OG trading card game, I'm sure most of you have heard of it, they actually have the rights now to the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I think it's June. They are releasing the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering trading card set. We have pre-ordered a bunch of it. Yes. So, yeah, we'll definitely be getting into some stuff with that, probably on our trading card channel. It'll probably be linked here, but yeah.
Yeah, we tried a bit of a fun opening on this channel before, and
no interest.
There wasn't much crossover there.
No. We're really behind on the questions. Sorry, guys. We can't answer all of them, unfortunately. Yeah. So this Adam, young Aragorn, directed by Vigo, told by an old king Elisar. Yeah, we literally that was a suggestion from ourselves earlier. So yeah, great minds think alike.
Yeah. I feel like Vigo is the kind of guy who'd love to come back as well.
Yeah, I
just for
think
a
so
bit of fun.
Good memory here. Richard says, coffee and whiskey bar next door to the trading card shop soon. Yeah, so that, ironically, our shop is located in the same building that our whiskey bar was going to be in. So, yeah. Just the shop for now, though.
Yes.
So, basically, when you're multi-millionaires, you'll just do cool stuff because it's fun. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to be multi-millionaires to do it, but, you know, if we could just, you know, maybe have a couple of staff members so we work less. That would be great.
Yeah.
Matt loves Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Lord of the Rings set. Would love to order a box. Make sure you do it from our website. It's technically live right now, but you can't buy anything on it. It's newporttradingcards.co.uk. You can check it out. It's just not finished. Have you done a big Evolving Skies opening yet? Yes, we actually filmed it ages ago. Just haven't posted it yet. And oh boy, it was good. Oh boy, it was so good. Okay, here we go. Update on the short film. Great question. So, where do we start with this? Ironically, we've actually been talking to Marcus today.
Yes, we've been hunting for a cinematographer for the project. We had some, I guess, half positive leads that kind of haven't worked out. So it's been a longer process on that side than we wanted. But again, it's the thing of you got to have the right person for this.
Yeah,
you got someone who matches the passion for it that we do. So we're being picky.
The schedule was actually, we were meeting with Marcus this Friday. James, myself, Marcus, who is the producer / writer, and the cinematographer, to all meet and go through literally storyboarding process, the look of the film, getting all that down, because everything else is ready to go. But we don't have a cinematographer yet. We can't find one. So if you guys know any cinematographers that want to work on a Middle-earth inspired short film, pass them our way. UK based preferably. But apart from that, it's just casting. Like, we've got locations sorted, costumes a bit sorted.
Yeah.
The story 100% done months and months ago. So most stuff is done.
Yes.
If you guys haven't seen the location scout for our main location for the film, it's available to members of the channel and patrons, I think.
Yeah.
So you can go and check that out if you're a member. It's on the channel.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Council of the Rings. Good to see you guys. Good to see you too. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it has been a while since we've done a live stream.
Yeah, and I would love to promise that we were going back to doing more. We attempted a podcast for a couple of weeks, and then
and then the internet was just like, no.
It got worse and worse. I feel like the more we tried it, the worse it got. So maybe sporadic ones, it might be okay.
Maybe, yeah. Well, to be fair, one of our staff members who normally works in the office with us is currently in Chicago for a month, so that's less use of internet, I guess.
So I think we'll kind of be doing them with like news releases and stuff. Will come on like that week and stuff, but I don't think we can set a schedule anymore, which is quite sad. But hey, we'll still be back from time to time.
Yeah. Could you sell coffee and whiskey at the card shop? Sadly not. There's a bar in this. It's in like an indoor shopping place, like a market sort of thing. So no, and it's also a very small shop.
Yeah.
Newport Trading Cards. Check us out on Instagram, literally at Newport Trading Cards. All right.
There was someone a minute.
Oh, there we go. Matt said, bring Marcus back to the channel. He's a lot of fun. He is. He just lives quite far away.
He does. He is going to pop down, but we just needed some stuff sorted first. So I found this one from Aaron. Apart from yourselves, it's clearly the best channel for Middle-earth content. There we go. So I wanted to read back. Who else do you follow and watch? What are the YouTube channels outside of, Middle-earth stuff? Let's get to know Jake.
So I don't... For Middle-earth content specifically?
No, outside of that. Who else do we follow and watch?
Apart from yourselves, is clearly the best Middle-earth content. Okay, well, if we're talking Middle-earth content...
outside of,
all right.
Middle-earth, everyone knows all the Middle-earth channels.
Yeah.
Everyone puts out great content. But I want to know what else.
Okay, outside of that... Ooh, I watch Corridor Crew, Corridor Digital, the OGs for YouTube. I quite enjoy watching PokeRev. He's like a Pokemon card opener. It's quite entertaining. And I watch Nick Nocturnal. It's probably one of my favorite YouTubers. He just does like heavy metal stuff, plays guitar. It's just funny. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
And then I watch football highlights. That's pretty much all I use.
Yes, there's a
YouTube
lot
for.
of football highlights
Yeah.
involved.
What about you?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. Corridor Crew as well.
Yeah.
Always keep up with them. Occasionally I still watch Film Riot,
Film
but I
Riot,
feel like they
classic.
don't put out as much anymore.
Mm.
A really random one is a channel called Work the Space who puts up Football Manager videos, which I find weirdly entertaining.
Yeah, I can't. No.
Yeah, it's a really weird one. But yeah, that's what I think of off the top of my head.
Blue Eyes TCGs.
Oh, of course.
The Sixth Ranger is a really great channel. The Bat Cave is a really great, but
Wonder
not
what
active
they all
channel.
have in common.
All right. I think that's pretty much rounding us off for today, guys. We have talked about all the potential not all of them, but some potential possibilities, at least in our opinion, for what could happen with these movies. Oh, you got another question?
It's not a question.
Okay.
It's just kind of a compliment. So,
Broken Sword for life. Woo!
Bro, here.
Hopefully in 5 to 6 years we'll rant on this channel about great new Lord of the Rings movies. See you Middle-earthers. Yeah, hopefully to our 1 million subscribers. That would be nice.
250 would be nice.
Yeah, we've been on like 210-ish for
And,
what feels like years now.
We've talking to our like YouTube reps and stuff. The commentary content of YouTube in general is struggling at the moment. So
yeah,
sad,
so
guys.
we
need your help.
Yeah, we do need your help. We've gone from averaging probably closer to 100,000 views a video to closer to 10,000 views a video. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, support the commentary genre of YouTube, aka what we do. It's tough. Aaron says, great live, guys. Thank you for the content. Amazing as always. Thank you for tuning in. It's been fantastic hanging out with you guys again. They didn't want to shout out other Tolkien channels. Lads, come on, don't pretend. No, we always talk about other Tolkien channels. So go and check out Men of the West. Yoyston's an OG. I'm sure everyone here follows Nerd of the Rings, In Deep Geek. There's loads of plenty of good channels. We're all friends.
Fellowship of Fans, if you want your up-to-date Rings of Power news. Wow, it looks like I missed the new stuff as well.
Aaron says, do we still get a video released later today, or is Thursday the next? Thursday will be the next one. Like we said earlier, this week was our opening week for the shop. And then this news came out, so we were like, okay, well, we can jump on a live for an hour Monday, because otherwise, no time. But yeah, things have calmed down after opening week, so back to Monday and Thursday releases from next week.
We found out how to get our next viral video. We need more cats.
I've got 2, Gordon and Phoebe.
The amount of cats in videos directly correlated to more views. So,
It's true.
let's get more cats.
Broken cats. All right, guys. Thank you all so much again for hanging out with us. It's always so much fun. Hopefully, we will try our best to do these more often. Are we still in the gym? Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. We need to get out of here because of the internet. I'm going to keep reading comments, so let's just get out of here. Right, guys, thanks so much for watching on Getting Distracted. Have a great day, and we will see you next time on The Broken Sword.
Bye, guys.
I look shorter than you, James.
Yeah.
So